Blessings, guys. Welcome back to Drea's Postres. It's been a minute, but today I'm going to be making habichuela con dulce. Now, habichuela con dulce, which is translated sweet beans, is usually a yummy treat that is a lot of cultures eaten during Holy Week, which we're currently in, Semana Santa. But not only then, you can have it all year round. And as you know, Holy Week is done in remembrance of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and then on the remembrance of what he did and who he is, right? So let's get to the yummy treat. And a lot of people, usually in different cultures, have this particular sweet treat because they're trying to avoid eating any meat, right? But you can have this year round, okay? So come on, let's get into it. This is the vegan version, and I'm going to be listing all the ingredients in the description below, okay? So we're going to need 1 bag of red kidney beans. You can also use the Dominican red beans, but it's the same thing, right? You're going to need cinnamon sticks, 1 can of coconut milk. You're going to need Dominican vanilla, clear or dark. You're going to need some cloves, whole, brown sugar, and also batata. So in the supermarket, I went to, the batata wasn't in good condition, so I ended up opting out for Korean sweet potato, which is basically almost the same thing. Okay, because these were actually in better condition. Well, at least the supermarket I went to. So I'm not using condensed milk, regular condensed milk or regular evaporated milk. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use the milk of my choice that I use. You can use almond milk, you can use oat milk, your dairy-free milk of choice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own evaporated milk and my own condensed milk. Okay? And if you want, you can also add raisins to it, but that's your choice, right? And also, I cannot have the Dominican cookies because they contain milk. So I opted out for these tea biscuits, which are vegan. So you want to look through your beans. You want to make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be in there. As you look through them, just to inspect to make sure there's nothing in there. Because one time I bought a bag of beans, there was like a tiny rock in there. So you just want to make sure, just give them a quick rinse. And now I'm going to fill. I'm going to add about 3 cups of water. You can measure it in, like I said before. So I'm going to be adding 2 cinnamon sticks to this. Because as it boils, you want the flavor to be infused. 2 is fine for right now. And then I'm not going to count the cloves. Just a little bit. You know, just a couple of them. I just put like a little. And I'm going to let them boil without a cover for about 20 minutes. Then I will cover them. I'm going to just cover them with a lid. That's what I mean. And you want to boil for 3 hours, but you definitely want to check every hour. So I'm going to come back in the 1 hour mark to check the consistency of the beans and to see if it needs additional water, because we do have to add more water because we want to make sure that they boil until tender. Okay. I also want to say that if you don't want to use bagged beans, you can use canned beans. Ooh, yes, you can. It's recommended to use the bagged beans because of the freshness. But if you don't mind and you're short on time, you can definitely do the whole processes with canned beans, canned red kidney beans. Now I'm going to be making the vegan condensed milk. So for the vegan condensed milk, I'm going to do a stovetop. I'm going to use a small saucepan. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 cup of dairy-free milk. Mine's is almond. You can use oat, soy, whichever one you prefer. I'm just going to use 1 cup. Also to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Half a cup of sugar, half a cup of sugar. And also 1 tablespoon of vegan plant butter, which I already portioned out. And 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, which I'm going to be adding right now. Want to make sure it's leveled out. And I'm going to bring this over to the stove, and I'm going to be using my whisk to stir. And you want to put this on low because you want this to simmer from 1 to 2 minutes. As you see it getting thicker and reach the consistency of condensed milk, it's not going to take long because of the cornstarch. So you want to make sure that everything is well incorporated, and you want to keep stirring. So you see the butter is going to break up as it melts, and you want to make sure that you stir. Make sure that cornstarch is dissolved and the sugar as well. So I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit, and I'm going to come back and keep stirring it. So as you can see, the butter is almost completely melted. So I just want to give it a stir, and I'm going to be coming back to check it gradually. So as you can see, everything fully combined, but it's still thin. So I'm going to let it go. And so I got a spoon. So you see is leaving a skin on here, but I still want it thicker. Okay guys, so this is the consistency that we have. And if you see where it started, see around how much it reduced. So I'm going to be taking it out now and let it cool. Okay guys, so I have a mason jar here that I'm going to let most of it cool down in and put it in the fridge. Well, I'm going to let it cool down room temp, then I'll put it in the fridge. Okay, I just have a tiny bit left, as you can see. And I want to show you the consistency of it. It's going to thicken more as it cools. So I'm just going to leave this room temp here. Yeah, I know I need a coffee break in between. Okay guys, so this is the evaporated milk. It has formed a huge skin, so we want to de-skin. You want to make sure that you de-skin. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. And after you de-skin, you want to let it completely continue to boil. Okay guys, so this reduced. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to finish skimming the rest of this. And if you could see how much it reduced, I'm going to take it off. And this is how much I actually skimmed off for the entire process. And I'm going to put this in a mug. So I'm going to be taking this off the heat and place it in a mug to cool. So this is going to be the vegan evaporated milk. So I'm going to place it to cool along with the condensed milk. That's almost fully cool. So the beans are boiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a quick stir. There's still more than enough water on the top. Okay, at this point, I'm only half an hour in, and I'm going to be adding more water because the beans at the bottom was already touched. And as you can see, the beans are not covered. So I'm just going to add more water now. And you want to add cold water as it boils. Aita. So I added 2 more cups of water. But the measurement for the water, is as it dries out. They're at a good boil. So I just want to stir just to make sure nothing is getting stuck on the bottom. I'm going to cover again. Okay guys, so I took out a bean. Yes, it's still hot. But when you're used to cooking, you had to adapt to a certain amount of heat, right? So I took one out, and if you poke it with the fork, it pokes. It goes through, but not fully through. So it's not ready yet. As you can see, it's still hard. So more boiling to go. Peeling the batata. You want to cut into small squares, not too small because we're not making mashed potato. I'm going to rinse really quick, and I'm going to add them, put them to boil. And this is 3 small Korean batatas, just enough water to boil, enough water to cover the top. So just enough to cover the top. Okay, so the beans are tender, completely tender. They're already breaking apart. I'm about to take them off the heat. So it's been 2 hours and a half, and they got actually tender. I'm going to show you. These are completely tender. They mashed up really well. I'm gonna add the beans with the cloves in the blender. What I'm not going to add to this is the cinnamon stick. I'm going to remove the cinnamon stick. And then I'm going to blend. So I'm going to fast forward that process now. Okay? For me, for this batch, I like the chunkiness. So I'm going to pour that right in. Okay. I did blend it. I just like the thickness of it. It's going to thin out too when I add the milks. So I like a thicker consistency for myself. You could definitely strain it, you see? Very thick. So you could definitely use a strainer so it could come out very smooth. But if you don't want to, and if you don't want to blend it either, you don't have to blend it. You can use the whole beans as well. I'm gonna add 1 can of coconut milk of your choice. Okay, guys, coconut milk of your choice. So this is the condensed milk that I had from earlier. And look how beautiful it is. I'm using the whole thing. The whole thing. And here goes the evaporated milk. I just want to take the skin off the top. Skin off the top. Put it in there. Now a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put the measurements in the description below. 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Vanilla extract. 2 cinnamon sticks. That's 1. That's 2. And some cloves. Okay. Just going to put a handful. I'm going to put the required amount in the description, and then you can add to your tasting if you want to put less or more. So, there we go. So now I'm just going to mix. And this is going to go on a low flame. So I'm just mixing slowly from the center to make sure that everything is incorporated well. And this is going to go on a low heat. Okay, so this is done. This is the consistency that I want. If you want it any thicker, you could definitely let it simmer more. I served mine and it looks delicious. I'm going to be using these tea biscuits. I could make cookies for it, but I didn't. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to just break it into little pieces. First, let me taste. It definitely is close to the flavor of the galleta de leche. So definitely a good choice. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what it looks so good. Look at that. And this is the thickness that I like. I'm going to taste it for you guys. Thank you, Jesus. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. I would say though, these crackers get soft really, really fast. So they're not like the galletas de leche that you can let it soak a little bit and then it maintains its integrity. But it'll work for now. Guys, delicious. I hope you make this. Let me know how it goes and enjoy. Well, thank you for joining me at Tres Postres for Habichuelas con Dulce that you can enjoy year round. If you have any questions or comments, put it down in the comments. If there's anything else, any other recipes you want to see me try out, then also in the comments. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and if you have any questions, inquiries, dreaspostres@gmail.com. Have a blessed day. God bless.